Right, I'm recording from now on. Gaïa. We're sat beneath a beautiful cherry blossom tree on a warm day in the park. What have you been thinking about today?
I've been thinking about how I don't have that much to do today, and it doesn't come that often, and I usually freak out in those days because I don't feel like I've got anything to do. And so today I decided to not freak out and to just go super slow. So this is my day of slowness.
Now, I know what you mean about when you've got an empty day, sometimes you start panicking a bit. You know, what am I doing? What am I doing? What have you thought about why you feel like that? Why it's not comfortable sometimes to have an empty day? Because some people listening will think, I would love an empty day,
Yeah.
but they never have them.
Yeah. I think as soon as I don't have them, I get very anxious and I feel like I want nothing more than an empty day. But I do feel like the reason why is because it's really, I think there's a really close link between self-esteem and something to do, and I don't know exactly how that is made. Maybe like it's society or something like that just tells you that you always have to be doing something to have value in yourself or something like that, where it feels like as soon as you don't have anything to do, maybe it's also like the impact of the big city and social media and all of these things combined just make me feel like this is the reason why I'm struggling to not be able to just enjoy, especially on a sunny day, just the idea of not having anything to do, if that makes sense.
It's interesting you talk about self-esteem, because that's quite a sort of core strength. It's a core value, isn't it? It centres us every day. And when you suddenly start to question your self-esteem, you start to wobble a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, self-esteem is obviously, I think, something that is very personal to every single one of us. And I don't know why, but I think I really am actively working towards not associating busy, not necessarily in a healthy way either, just like busy, always doing something and making something and working on something, and with my level of self-esteem, you know. So because I don't see it on other people, I don't assume that people just going on a walk in the park have nothing better to do, you know. Like, it's just something about me where I just feel like suddenly I don't have that much purpose and stuff.
It's interesting you bring in other people too, because you start to think, do other people feel like this?
Yeah.
So just to give you an angle on my day, I've had a similar kind of day, and actually the reason I've come out is because I needed to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, I was kind of pacing around the house, doing little things, you know, doing that tidying thing when you need to be doing something. And I thought, I need to just start moving. Otherwise, I'm going to start drifting.
Yeah.
And getting the wrong thoughts in my head. I'm
Yeah.
going to start questioning everything. So maybe it's a similar kind of thing. It's interesting you use the word self-esteem. I'm not sure whether I'd use the word. For me personally, it just starts to make me feel a bit panicked.
Yeah. No, I understand. I was exactly the same 2 hours ago, and I'm so glad I made it out, because it's quite hard to like get out of the house sometimes when you feel like that. And I feel like as soon as you get out, you kind of realize that everything is fine, actually. So yeah, I don't know if I like I think everyone like reacts a different way. Some people do really well with like boredom and stuff. I think I just don't really do that quite well. Like I feel like I'm too active and like I go a bit too fast, not necessarily in a good way, to just be able to like appreciate smaller things. But that's something that I've realized throughout the years, and now I'm like actively trying to like appreciate those things more.
Well, it's good that you're taking steps.
Yeah.
You're thinking about it. You're trying to analyze it and thinking, how can I make a better situation for myself if I just think about this and work out the triggers. Okay, I'm starting to feel like this. I know what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the automatic thing, like you said a bit earlier, is to be busy. Get busy. Do things, achieve things. And you're right, we're programmed to do that. I think we are programmed to do that. And I think you don't realise how that is such a constant state of being until suddenly your foot is off the pedal, there isn't anything to do, and you're like, Oh, I can hear the silence now.
How do you deal with those situations? Do you feel like you always have to be busy to be like functioning properly?
So I'm quite good at, I think I'm quite good myself at doing nothing for my own self. I can spend a day in quite a quiet way, but I haven't got like a Zen-like calm. I don't know, maybe the image is like being on a path when everything's fine. You're kind of on a path and it's in front of you. And I like the word sort of drift. You start to drift off the path and then you start to think, where am I and what am I doing? You had obviously slowed down because we're on a bench.
Yeah.
And when I came up to you, you had a notebook, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And a phone in your hand. Two great things to have. One connects you to the whole world, and the other connects you to yourself in a way. Is it a notebook for writing or drawing?
Writing. I write a lot. I've got notebooks since I'm 11, 12.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And I've just been writing, maybe not every day, but at least once a week. It's not literature. It's no one reads them except me, and it's just a thought. Like, at the beginning, it was just like I actually don't remember how it was at the beginning because it was so long ago. But right now, at least, it's just whenever I feel a bit overwhelmed or a bit like, okay, what is going on? I just write my thoughts. But it's really not like it's very basic, and sometimes it's not even like. I'm not even talking about anything. I'm just talking about how the trees are blossoming and the sky is blue, but it kind of still helps, you know.
Well, that's nice. So it's interesting you turn to it when you need to offload.
Yeah.
Rather than turn to it like, I think maybe some people use that process for, I've got this great idea, I need to write it down before I lose it and forget it and start thinking about something else. But you're just like, there's too much in my head, let me put some down on paper, and that will help to unwind me in some way.
Exactly. It's funny you say that because I actually have two notebooks. And then when I left the house, I was wondering which one to take. And I took this one, and this one is for the offload. But I also had the other one with the ideas. Oh,
that's nice.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that before. Oh, that's good. That's like an artist having two different kind of sketchbooks. So they each have a specific purpose.
Yeah. This one is more like an inwards, nothing creative necessarily is going to come for it. It's more like a mental health, very personal thing. And then the other one is more ideas, things that I can build off from those ideas and like more work related. I need a separation. One, they can't overcross.
Do you carry them both sometimes?
I very rarely carry this one.
Oh, okay.
The one that I have today.
Because this one stays at home.
Yeah.
Because it's just not for the tube, it's not for those random moments,
No.
It's quite a specific thing.
Exactly. Also, I would really be, I would be very sad if I lost it. And I don't think anyone should read it. You know, it's like very personal.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one, if you read it, you're probably gonna not understand the clue because it's just keywords and like, you know, like
diagrams.
Nothing. Yeah. No one, like little like drawings and stuff. So if you find it, then that's fine. And you can't really make sense of this. This one you can't really make sense of it either because it's two languages. But if you know those languages, you can read the words.
What are the two languages?
French and English.
French and English.
Yeah.
Do you think in both? So I'm not bilingual.
Mm-hmm.
Our nation is unfortunately famously terrible at language. What's it like to think in two languages?
It's fun because especially those two languages have a lot of different words and like they have loads of words to explain the same thing, and there's some words that don't have a translation in each other's languages.
So you have to use
yeah
one language for a particular word because it's like only this word suits
yeah
the situation.
Like for example, there's this word that I was talking about with my mom. Like we have there's no word in English that talks about liking food but not in a good way. Like, you know how like
what would be the word in French?
Gourmand.
Oh, as in a great foodie.
Yeah,
we just use foodie.
Foodie,
it's not quite the
I
same,
guess.
is it?
Yeah. I guess foodie.
Well,
yeah.
you know, it's no it's no surprise that we don't have great words for food, given our history of food.
Very true, very true, very true.
Everyone
Wrong
is always very rude about the history of British food. Although I
Yes.
think it's getting better now because we assimilate other foods and we're open.
Diversity.
So we take on everyone's food,
Yeah.
and therefore our food is getting better.
Agreed.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, stuff like that. I think it's funny you say that because I was talking about it a couple of days ago with my friends. I think if I'm having a conversation with you, let's say, and then I'm going to walk home, I'm probably going to think in English because I just talked to you in English. But then if I'm on the phone with my mum for an hour and then I'm going to walk after that call, I'm probably going to think in French.
So it's completely equal. Your brain can work in both.
My brain is way more French than English.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Because I've only moved here 5 years ago.
Okay.
And you know how they say that when you leave a country at a certain age that has a different language, you stop at that age. So then I moved out when I was 19. So then my level of French is 19 years old.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Okay.
Because then all of the vocabulary that I've learned between 19 and now, I've learned in another language. So then it's kind of like I don't really have a perfect French anymore either, because all of the words that we would learn later on, I've learned in English, if that makes sense. Especially in career-oriented things, because I've made my career here, not in France.
Now, in terms of feeling you've got a 5-year gap in like your French and stuff like that, does that kind of make you think about yourself and what is me? Who am I after these 5 years here? Does it help you kind of divide it off? Maybe if you'd stayed in France and not moved out, you wouldn't have had to reflect. But those 5 years have kind of given you a marker in your life. You're like, before moving to England and after moving to England.
Yeah.
It kind of helps you differentiate.
100%. Yeah, I think it's hard to know what I would be doing if I hadn't moved here. I think I've always been kind of intrigued about different cultures and different languages, and I don't think I really was planning on staying in France that long. But it just creates a gap in both ways, you know? Like I feel like, and it's beautiful because it brings a lot of things, right? It brings a lot of like open-mindedness and meeting people I would have never met, and like a lot of like a different culture. Like it's way more pros than cons, but there's still this thing of like the belonging side of things, right? I've not grown up here, my parents are not here, my family's not here. There's like, it's a whole new life I've created for myself. And then you've got this other gap when you go back to your country because you've not been there for that long. So I think the gap is something that is a bit difficult, and that I think only people that have moved out really can relate to. Like obviously everyone has that thing of belonging, obviously, but I think moving away is
it almost, sorry to cut it, is it almost like if you went back to France and you're in a social situation and somebody else, French, who also lived in Britain, was at the party or something, and you're like, oh, I can speak to you because you get it.
Yeah.
Because we are this little subgroup, this subset, and you understand this clash that we have.
The same way you're gonna bump into someone and they're wearing a shirt that is your favorite band that no one knows about, you would feel connected, you know? It's just this deeper connection that you're just gonna have. As much as when I meet someone that's French here, in a room full of British people or full of anyone, I'm going to be like, okay, hi.
Yeah. We can talk on the right level.
Yeah, if I want to go there, you know, sometimes you don't really want to go on those, like, talk about those topics, but it does feel easier, yeah.
What was it that brought you here initially? You said you felt that you were going to move out of France. You could have gone in any direction of the compass. You ended up crossing the channel to here. Was there a practical reason? Was it chance? Did you think, I'll try and then see, and you're still here?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay.
So I was
just
planning.
never left.
Yeah, exactly. I was planning on staying for 6 months.
Okay, great.
And then COVID happened.
Oh.
And then.
Oh, mad.
Yeah, it was a bit crazy.
Did you go home for that? Or
no,
did you
I stayed here.
Okay.
Because it was just a bit difficult because by then my parents had moved out, so then I didn't really have like a home to go back to, if that makes sense.
Right.
It was a very strange time because looking back now, it was weird because after 2 years of lockdown, I had been living in London for 2 years and a half, but I didn't know anything
Yes, because it was
It was all closed.
Because nobody went anywhere.
Yeah.
See, I remember walking around this park right at the beginning when they had those megaphones when they shouted at you for stopping or being
Oh,
stop.
right.
Don't be too close to that person.
Uh-huh.
You're too close, and you're like, what is going on?
Uh-huh.
What is going on?
And the park would close at 4 p.m.
Oh my goodness.
It was so strange.
Oh, those
but yeah,
days.
those days.
I think we've all blanked those days.
Yeah,
It's
right.
kinda like,
We don't
I
speak
just-
about it that much.
No, we don't. We don't, because
It
it
was
wasn't a
hard.
good time.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't a good time. So you came here, COVID happened, so you had an interesting and unusual start. Did you quickly get into the rhythm of work and making life happen? Have you had periods when you are not sure what's going on, or have you been pretty focused since you've been here?
I've been quite focused. I think I've been very lucky. And I feel like most people that I've met have been really supportive. And that's one thing that I will say, about London compared to Paris, for example, is that people support each other. I feel like maybe it's because there's way more people here, so then other people feel less like a competition, maybe. I don't know, but I feel like I've been very lucky, and I feel like as soon as I moved here, I started doing my little projects and like independent short films and stuff like that, and I managed to get a team together.
Oh,
you know?
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you came to be creative. You tapped into the creative world and could start moving in it immediately and swimming in it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was hard to break into and people were not opening the doors.
No, it's not feel like that. Also, I moved in a warehouse with 12 people.
Oh, that helps.
So then obviously there's
But
loads
also
of people.
that helps with the COVID, because you're in a small, isolated community in a mad time.
Yeah, it was pros and cons. Pros, the amount of people, so then you wouldn't feel that lonely. Cons, the fact that everyone had their own opinion. You know, how like half of the people were like, no, we need to isolate. Half of the people were like, I don't believe in anything that's going on. So then everyone had like kind of like a strong opinion.
Oh,
and
interesting.
warehouses bring strange, like interesting characters, because you can go without, like, you know how like agencies work and you have to have a contract and enough money on your bank account. Warehouses don't really have that thing. So then it brings people that come from very different backgrounds, which is amazing. And I'm really, 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 really happy I did that, because that's the reason why I've met all these people. But it was really intense. It was like no windows, 12 people. It sounds insane.
It sounds like a brilliant film.
Yeah, that's why I did my
12
first movie.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You just got out a camera, you're just like, I'm going to start filming this.
Yeah.
Oh, how interesting. So tell us about warehouse life. Most people who are listening will never have lived in such a communal way. Had you done it before, or
No.
this is your first
That was my
experience
first time.
right?
Yeah.
So, you've said there's lots of different characters. You sometimes pull in different directions, but you're all in the same space, so there must be a quick adjustment you all make socially when there's a problem,
Yeah.
because you can't keep a problem going. You need to solve it. Do you solve problems better?
Yeah. That's very true. I've not really thought about it that way. I think there's the people that care and the people that don't care, right? That's the people that really want to make like the house a really nice living space, and then there's the people that can see that regardless of how nice you're going to make it, there's 12 people living in there. You know, there's the people that are going to complain about the dishes, and then the people that aren't good to. I don't know if that's a good example, but it just feels like it's so many ways of thinking into one room. So like there's not really any laws. It's a bit of the law of the jungle, right?
Yeah.
Which makes it very interesting.
But but the law of the jungle, does that mean the strongest win? The person with the loudest voice, the most, the biggest character that they want to show? Does that mean that they drown out the quieter people, or?
Yeah, surely a little bit somehow. Yeah, I think so. I think probably the person that's been there the longest has the last word. You know, you've got those like.
They're like the elder.
Yeah.
I love
You know?
this kind of like tiny mini human society.
It was because also it was one warehouse within 5 others.
Oh, okay.
So obviously it was ours, but then you had like the whole ecosystem all around, right?
Nice. So then hold on. There's another identity going on, because
Yeah.
then you have a little tribal thing where you're just like, our warehouse has this environment. And then we go to warehouse 2, 3, 4, 5, and they all have a different. So what was, when you went out, what was your kind of identity for your warehouse? Were you the fun warehouse? Were you the radical warehouse?
We were the fun warehouse because we had a music studio
Uh-huh.
that my friend Tommy was running, and he would get the artists and he would get the exciting people. So then I think a lot of people, I think we were the fun warehouse. There was a warehouse next to us that was doing really fun events, and then there was a drug warehouse that for me wasn't that fun. It was a bit scary because it was a lot of hard drugs, and I was really young.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that wasn't less of my thing.
But in a way, it's kind of good to know the parameters. That was like one of your limits. It's kind of like, okay, that kind of warehouse is not my kind of thing. So it made your warehouse seem better.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we've actually got a pretty good situation here.
Yeah. There wasn't any hard drugs as far as I know in open spaces or anything like that. It was very the thing as well is that you've got like the 3 or 4 people that have been there for years, and then you kind of have people coming in, and then after 2 months most people go, you know.
Okay, so there's quite a transient nature to it.
Yeah, maybe less during COVID, obviously, because we couldn't. But as soon as like the lockdown eased, like a lot of people moved out. I've moved out quite quickly after as well, and I think it's just it doesn't work for most people, right? Like I think.
Okay, you could do it short term.
Yeah.
But you don't want to become a long-term resident in this situation because it takes just a bit too much adapting.
Yeah. Also, like this, like just as like the space itself is quite, you know, a difficult space to live in. Even just basic about like having windows and like the cleanness, is that a word? Cleanliness of the space and like the sound, the music, you know, the different lifestyles. Some people work at night, some people work during the day. Like having a 9 to 5 in this environment seems very, very difficult. Having a partner seems quite difficult because the wall was so thin, you know, so then you could hear everything. There's no privacy. So I think it's a very good experience for a short period of time for some people. But then after you have to like be like, you get dragged in those places sometimes.
Yeah,
you know?
sort of like dragged into a way of being.
Yeah.
Which means you've adapted to it.
Yeah, and I don't think that's necessarily good.
Okay, all right. So you were aware of that process. You were like, I don't actually want to adapt too far into this lifestyle because actually it's not really for me.
Yeah, especially at some point the prices went up, so it wasn't even like a good deal, you know?
Okay.
So there was no benefits. So then as soon as I could, I left, yeah.
How did you get into it to start with? I'm assuming it's a random meeting with somebody. I mean, it wasn't like you went
Facebook.
online in France and said, I want to we live in a warehouse.com.
No, not at all. No, it was a Facebook ad. And I remember going there and thinking that was a bit crazy, and then I was like,
well,
why
so you
not?
just saw an ad on Facebook. You went in blind,
Yeah.
and you were just like, "Hi, so what's the score?"
Yeah.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
That's very brave.
At 18.
It's very brave.
Yeah, yeah.
Well done,
I got lucky, and like I'm glad, like everything went well.
But you to do that at aged 18, you know, you have some courage. To, you know, you're not worried about going into a situation which you don't know.
No, I think that's something that I've learned a bit later because I grew up in the countryside, in a very, very, very small town of France, where I don't think I've been confronted to risk in the same way than people in London have.
Okay.
You know, I think it's built my trust and like my faith in humanity in a different way. I think, you know, that's something that I've realized the last few years where I've been quite lucky to just be around like grass and fields and old people and farms, right?
So are you saying that the upbringing you had, the beginning of life, the growing up in the small place with the countryside, is an important foundation within you still? It's kind of like it gave you a solid foundation.
Yeah, I think so.
Which means the city is easy to be dealt with because you kind of know people.
Yeah, I mean, most of my friends from the countryside that I'm from, Burgundy, are still there. I think I was also quite lucky to, like, I was born in Germany in the city, and then moved to the countryside when I was like 3, and then was always really intrigued by the city and I didn't really appreciate the countryside while I was in there, especially when you're 15.
Of course,
you
you
know,
want to,
you want to see the world, especially because we started having internet, obviously. So then it wasn't Instagram and TikTok or anything like that, but it was Facebook, and like maybe Instagram started when I was in my early teens. I can't really remember, but you want something else.
My understand from friends of mine who grew up in remote rural places in this country, they're just like, you need to get your driving license.
Yes.
And that's the best freedom you can get.
Yes.
When you're mid-teens or late teens in the country. It's kind of like, yeah.
That is the first thing you do as soon as you can. 15 and a half, you start doing the lessons, and at 18 you get the car.
Your friends that have stayed there, do you think you could have led that life? That's it, you're shaking your head.
No way. I left as soon as I could. My parents moved out when I was 15, 16 to get better jobs for me and my sister to be able to go to university if we wanted to. I didn't go, but she did. And finished my, like, it's called baccalaureate, which is like when you're 18, the last test.
The last school test?
Yeah.
Right.
And then as soon as I could, I left and moved to Paris.
Okay. Was that where your parents were?
No, my parents moved to Switzerland.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I had a flat quite early at this age, which also made me feel, in that time, very independent and fun. And then looking back, probably was a bit too early for me to live by myself. But we learn, and there's ups and downs.
In those early days when you were in that flat, you were 18.
In the flat, I'm 16.
16.
Yeah.
In the flat on your own?
Yeah.
Did you have any, how we started the conversation talking about feeling those days when you feel not sure of yourself and you start getting worried and maybe a bit of panic. Did you have that when you're on your own, or was that completely not part of your life then? And at that point of your life, there's no questioning, there's just forward.
I think there was just forward.
Yeah. I think that's youth.
I think that's youth, right? I think you don't really see the risks and the fear. And it's only recently that I'm like, whoa, that was a bit crazy. But in the moment, I don't think so. In the moment, I thought I was the coolest girl at school because I was the only one with a flat,
you know,
like at 16. Like, that's
all back
so
to Gaïa.
cool.
Come on, let's
Literally,
go back.
that's what was happening every weekend. There was no parents,
Right.
And like in a great way. That's amazing. I can eat whatever I want. I can go out. No one will know. Like,
Did you become more of an adult because of this independence, do you reckon? Because you had to be a bit responsible.
Yes.
By, the simple thing of buying your own food and toilet paper and actually cleaning and...
Going to school, like I could not go, no one would know.
Yeah.
I mean, my teachers would probably call my parents quite quickly, but still, it definitely made me feel very...
Oh God, if I went to school with a kid who had their own flat at that age, I'd be just like, that is so cool. Yeah. I want to be like that. It's rare.
Yeah, it's
rare,
really
very rare.
I was the only one in my school, definitely. I think my parents didn't do it as abandonment or anything like that. It was just financial reasons because my mum was working freelance and it wasn't working out. And she panicked because it was getting to the age where me and my sister would go to uni, and obviously there's costs to that. So then she thought that she would move to get a better salary for us to be able to do that if we wanted to.
I mean, it's quite a sacrifice for her to make. Maybe a few years later, you're able to say to your mum, I mean, there's no reason why you should have to think like this, but I just think I'm I'm in my mid-50s, I have a little daughter, and I know how much of parenting is sacrifice in a very small way. The small number of years I've had a daughter, 5 years. But for your mum to make that decision and your dad, it must have been hard for them to not be with you, age 16.
Yeah, I think my mum really struggled, yeah.
And did you appreciate that at the time? Or were you just like, see you mum, bye?
A mix. I think I appreciated more later on, for sure. I've never been upset, or I think she was really communicative about the fact that it wasn't because she wanted to live a better life without me, right? Like that was never the case.
She was trying to do the best for you.
She was trying to do the best for us. It wasn't for a better life for herself, right? Because she she had to get a job that wasn't necessarily what she wanted to do. She had to live in a flat share at 55, financially, like, reasons and stuff. So, like, it's a sacrifice that she did for the greater good, for her kids to have access to education.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful for
And
that.
your dad too? Different kind of dynamic, or
different dynamic. My dad's is a bit more of a difficult, tricky situation.
Okay.
But he also left, but it wasn't exactly for the same reasons.
And in a different direction.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Got you.
Yes.
Got you.
In a more selfish way, let's say.
I'll leave it there.
Let's leave it there.
What about your sister? She went to university.
Yeah.
When are you good with her? Do you have a good relationship?
Yes.
Great. When you kind of meet up and you talk about the last 5 years, everything that you've done, how do you compare notes? What's she done with her life compared to what you've done with yours?
My sister's a lawyer.
Okay.
She's a great lawyer. She's a social, I don't know if that is the correct term, but she's a social lawyer. She's protecting people that need help. I mean, everyone needs help, but like that can't necessarily afford justice, or people that have that come from minorities, or that come from different countries that don't really speak the language. Like, she's great. She changes the world case by case.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm really, really, really proud of my sister. She's amazing. We have very different lives, obviously, but we also really, really get on. I think she is very creative and has a lot. She's always been way more academic than me.
Okay. So she was always going to take a different road.
Yeah. I feel like there was no doubt that she was going to go to uni and do great things. Not that I'm not doing great things, but like in a more like clear, you're changing the world way.
Right. And did she come and visit you in the warehouse?
She didn't come in the warehouse because that was the no traveling phase.
Okay, yeah. So there was a practical reason.
Yeah, I don't think she has.
But just as an example, that kind of thing would not be attractive to her.
Not to live, but there wouldn't be any judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she would. I don't think she would do that for herself. No.
Right.
But she wouldn't be like, "Oh, what are you doing? Like, this is gross." Yeah. She'd probably be like, "Interesting," and probably laugh at me a bit.
It's interesting though, isn't it? How with siblings we take different paths.
Yeah.
And we're unified. Hopefully, in most families, brothers and sisters get on well. But yeah, we're very different people.
Even though we grew up with the same education and the same parents.
Had exactly the same life almost.
Yeah.
For like almost 15 years. But then you take these very different paths and you're different. Yeah.
I agree.
It's kind of fascinating.
Do you have siblings?
I've got 3.
Are you similar or different?
I would have to, that thing of how you would explain something and how somebody else would explain something. Almost I would need somebody who knew us 4, old family friends, to answer that question.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
I think we're similar. We get on well.
Okay.
But we're also very different. We've chosen different paths, despite a common upbringing. Yeah. So you moved out of the warehouse. You decided to go back to living on your own?
No, I lived in a flat share.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in a flat share. I actually had like a bike accident.
Oh.
Yeah, where I fell because of a pothole around there and opened my head.
Ouch. So
Yeah,
what? So you
ouch.
cut yourself and it like proper bad accident?
It was really, really bad. It was like all the way up.
Ooh.
Which was really bad, but that's how I managed to move out, because I was really struggling financially. But then I sued the council because it was a council issue because of a pothole, and lost balance because of the pothole. And someone told me to sue, and I was like, I will. Why not?
Yeah.
And then as soon as I did, it took a really long time. But then as soon as I won the case, I made a bit of money, and then I managed to, like, how you have to get a deposit somewhere else and all of that. Like,
that allowed you to move.
Exactly. It's quite expensive to move out. So as soon as I did that, I moved out and then lived in the regular flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. and I've moved like 5 or 6 times since, but
Oh, so you don't mind moving?
I do. I've not moved in a while now. I've
Okay.
moved five times in 1 year that year because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always had really bad. Like it was just one time the landlord was coming back. One time we got kicked out. One time the rent was going up £400.
Right.
It
So
was
just
like,
lots of things were happening,
exactly.
and you had to be quick at just changing the circumstance.
Yeah.
How's your head, by the way, now?
Great, all good. I was
Still got
really
all of your
lucky.
brain in there.
Yes.
Nothing was lost.
Nothing was lost. No, I was really lucky. Because I had like 28 stitches,
God, that's a lot.
which was a lot. And the person that did
The stitching.
the stitching, she was saying that if I had fallen a millimeter like higher, I probably would
No.
have died straight away because I would
You're
have.
joking.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm
Oh my
not.
God.
Yeah, so it was a big accident.
And also, did it shake your confidence, like physically or emotionally or any? I mean, did it really knock you as
Yeah.
a person?
For a month, it was really bad because I was on a lot of painkillers, so I couldn't really function, and it was very like swollen, and it was not nice to see for like a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then after that, as soon as I was good again, I think more than shaking my confidence, it kind of did the opposite, and it kind of made me feel really like
I'm
proud to be alive. Yeah.
I'm a survivor of a terrible bike accident.
Yeah, it kind of makes you see life a bit different, you know, and it makes you appreciate things a bit different.
So looking to the future, Gaïa, you've been here 5 years, you're mid-20s, you've got various projects going on. You have to make your life happen. You're not like a salaried person. You don't just work for a company and go home at the end of the week and you have a salary.
No.
So you're always generating.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the future's looking good for
Yeah.
you personally?
And on a very self-centered point of view, I think so. I think I'm quite optimistic. If it's just about me, yeah, I have loads of ideas. I have loads of amazing people in my life. Even if the future is just 2 weeks, I'm really excited because it's spring and the sun is shining, you know. But if it's future 2 years, I think so. I think I'm enjoying getting older. I always thought that it was going to be something that I didn't want to like do or like happen to me, but I am actually really, really, really happy because I feel like you learn so much more about yourself, about other people, about who you are, what you want to do, who you want to be. I think I am. I'm optimistic. It's a hard one to. It's hard to be optimistic right now, especially because you know what's going on in the world and the news and all of these things. It is hard, and I think, especially people around my age and younger, it is really hard to like find a comfort in the idea of a future. But I will still say yes. Yeah, I think so.
Yes, you're feeling positive.
Yeah, I hope so. I think you caught me on a good day. No, I see the glass half full, and I think that it's not to sound cheesy, right? But I do feel like it can only get better. I really hope, and I wish that for everyone, even though it's very much based on where you live and where you're from and who you are and how much money you have. But on my very privileged scale, I'm positive, yeah.